It says we're live. Now to see if we really are. Good morning, everyone. I can say good morning this morning because it is still morning. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila. As if you are seeing this live, it is on Sassy Seer Sheila. I will be uploading it. Won't be till later today because I do have I'm accompanying my housemate to a doctor's appointment today, so it won't be till later on. Today is Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025. And if you joined me yesterday for the live on that live was on New Light Streaming Love, actually, then you got to see Crystal, because Crystal unexpectedly joined me, which I was so glad that she could. And I want you guys to know that we are going to be doing, or I should say, I am going to be doing everything I can to assist her in her upcoming surgery. If you did not catch yesterday, let me just say that she had spinal surgery in her neck last year. And I think it was earlier this year or late last year. She was in. There was somebody ran a stop sign and hit her. It was pretty big accident, and went flying out. Oh, Peregrine Falcon came out. Oh, I love this card actually. This reminds me of the Hand of Fatima card from what deck is that one from? I want to say it's from the Remy deck, but it might not be. It might be from a different deck, but it always reminds me of freedom. Probably because the falcon looks very much like an eagle, but there's a being holding its hand up to a wave in that one that actually looks like an eagle. So, interesting. It's card number 25. That's a 7 numerologically. For me, that's always a oh, this is really interesting. The key word on this card is observation. And while I was, I just took a shower, and as I was getting ready for my day, I was contemplating observation, how I have really adopted an observatory perspective, really. Vanessa, good morning. I'm so glad to see you. Oh, you are so welcome, my dear. Absolutely so welcome. And like I said, if you want to get together and go over those, just let me know, because I'm happy to do that. Although I have to say, I am offering those charts as of now in exchange for love offerings, which I am forwarding on to Crystal. Crystal is a single mom, and she will be out of work for we don't know how long during this spinal surgery. And that's what she found out from all the additional MRIs that had to be done. She had spinal surgery last year. And then this accident that happened where somebody ran a stop sign and it was a broadside situation. They found that not only did it damage the surgery that they did, but there was significant movement. That's the words that was in her chart, was that there was significant additional damage that now is going to have to be. And of course, of course, because there was an accident involved, of course, there will be, I'm sure they will take care of, the medical bills and things, but it was a very young driver, I believe 19. And so I'm not certain about all of that. And I do know that as a single mom, the electric bill doesn't wait until this and that and the other gets taken care of. So I'm so happy to assist her in that. So yes, please do reach out to me as for a timing on that so that we can do it, of course, in a timing that's good for you, but also um, perhaps if you're open to it, I might suggest a little something where you can assist too, not necessarily through a love offering of money, but maybe another way that you might be able to help me help Crystal. So if you're up for that, do and when we do that, make sure that you have at least 2 hours of free time to spend with me, okay, and possibly even more because it sometimes can run a little long, mostly because I'm so long-winded. Because once I get into a specific spot, it just goes. Okay, so there's two cards came out from the surrender deck. So let's see what we got here from the surrender deck. Surrender your ego, cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. And I have to tell you, I feel like that's so. For one of my reasonings behind, oh, that was Crystal just then. Hang on a second. I want to let her know. I don't think she realizes I'm live. Live on Sassy C or Sheila. Join me if you like! Exclamation point. Okay, so I had to ask myself this whole thing about having a YouTube channel and what is that all about? For me, I had to ask myself, is this about your ego, about the desire to be seen, the desire to be heard? What is this about for you? I had to ask myself these questions because, as a young child, I had this dream of being, Barbara Streisand. I was going to be Barbara Streisand, right? Um, and so, yes, I think there is a portion of that. I had to be honest with myself. Yes, absolutely. But there's something else too. And what I mean by that is that I show up here as who I am, which is why I like this right here. Humility will further your goals because a big ego can work against you. I'm just being myself. Anybody who knows me knows that that's a true statement. I don't know. I have this feeling, and we would have to ask Crystal this question. But I have this feeling. There she is. Yay! Journey into it. I'm in the same room you joined me in yesterday. If you want to join me, or if you're busy, just and you get a chance to answer this question: am I not the same person in person that I am on the YouTubes? Because Crystal lives about an hour and a half from me. And I kind of feel like the very first time we met in person, we were out in public somewhere, and I was just being me, as I always am. And I felt a bit of surprise from you that I walk in the world in the same way that I talk on YouTube. Yes, you have said that. That's what I thought you did. And um, so I love this card. And then the next one that came out from Surrender was surrender to what is. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. And for me, I keep being shown that I have no clue what the reasoning is to why this is happening. Whatever the this is. And it could feel horrific. It could feel like, oh my God, it's the biggest tragedy ever. And I've been saying that a lot lately about how I have labeled things in my past as tragic or horrific or whatever it is in the moment that I'm doing this, I don't know, suffering, you know, during that what is. But I have no clue as to what it will actually lead to, because that's the whole point of the divine timing and the universe. I have no idea what has to be shifted around over here so that this over here can be shifted around like this, and this over here as a result of that, and this and that. I don't have any clue as to how all that goes. So, and there's an and in there too, that in trying to control outcomes, I now see where I have done myself more disservice in trying to control something because of whatever it is I think is going on, when in point of fact, nothing at all is what it seems on any sort of level, no matter what we think about the what is. And so I don't know, there's a whole lot to that for me. Um, yeah, a whole lot to that. Now the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle came out with card number 26, Me Time. Oh, that's interesting. The Peregrine Falcon was 25. And Hero's Journey is 26. And it says Me Time. Enjoy. Okay, this is going to sound really funny, especially after what I just said about while I was getting ready, I was noticing how I'm becoming way more observant than I ever have been. Either that or I'm noticing how observant I actually am, or maybe even have always been. I don't know. But as I was having my me time after my shower, because I've shared before, um, I make my own um, body oil, moisturizing, whatever you want to call it, using coconut oil and essential oils. And I speak to my body as I moisturize my body, and that is my me time. So this reading is like, I don't know, it's like recapturing my whole morning. So that's kind of interesting there to me. I don't know. And it says, enjoy your own company, which, you know what? I really do anymore, because yes, you guys are here watching me live, but you're not also. I'm in my room all by myself, looking at myself in my little mirror, having a good old time, just talking to me. I don't know. There's something about that. There is something about that. And there's been a lot of times in my life where that wasn't the case, where I wasn't. The Singer of Courage, we had that last week. Came out with Iris of the Rainbows. Okay. Okay. We have, wow, this is going to be a big reading. This is going to be a big reading. Well, you know what I've noticed over the last several, uh, well, almost 2 weeks, every single reading that I've done has been huge for me. I hope it has been for you in many ways. I hope there's been something for you if you've shown up here, if you've been here live, or if you've found it later. Hope you found it at least entertaining. The Swan, card 67. Doesn't really look like a swan, but for some reason it's giving me this card. When I look at this card, I'm feeling this card. I know it doesn't really even look at all like it, but it feels like it. Isn't that interesting? I wonder what that's about. Why is that giving that energy to me? Because it doesn't look anything like it. Vanessa said, I always learn. Oh, thank you, Vanessa. You're so sweet. I always learn something wonderful from you. And thereby, for me, is where I feel like this is a win win because I know I'm learning a lot from my own self, my own words, as because I it's been really coming out over the last little bit here about how my voice activates me. So just talking to myself out loud helps me. I mean, I had to, that was such an accidental realization. Um, I had been in, this has been probably 3 or 4 years ago now. I had been in my room mulling over stuff, just contemplating, thinking, trying to figure something out because I was having a hard time with something. And I came out into the living room where Lisa was, and I said, "Got a second? Can I hit you up with a chat here? Something I'm trying to work out, something I'm trying to figure out." I think this might even been right around the time that I met Crystal, where I was starting to ask myself questions. But I wasn't really getting any answers to this. Not anything that really was helping me. And it could be that I just wasn't paying close enough attention yet. But at any rate, I started telling Lisa what my thoughts were, right? And I can't even remember now what it was. Um, but as I'm sitting there saying the words out loud, Lisa never had to open her mouth to say anything to me. I got it. It came. It came like a thunderbolt. And that is how I know that, at least even just for myself. That's why I keep saying, for me, and I think we've had this card before: land, flower, earth. So for me, coming here and doing this is for me. I'm very clear. I realize that it is for me. And so if it's helpful to any one of you, just one other person, that's a huge win-win as far as I'm concerned. Now, I think we're going to go with land, flower, earth first. I don't know why. Oh, and Crystal, I don't know if you're still here. I want to share something with you. I don't know if y'all can tell I'm a little out of breath this morning. prior to my shower, I was noticing palpitations again. And those palpitations subsided, which is why I went ahead and took the shower. But all of a sudden now, I don't know if it's not palpitations, but whatever is going on, I have a little bit of shortness of breath, and I'm noticing I feel sort of shaky inside. You know what I mean? It's not an anxiety thing. It's not an excitement thing either. It's an energetic, and I don't know exactly what that is, but it's interesting, and I wanted to call it out. I wanted to say it because Lisa was telling me yesterday that she was having some palpitations and she was, not in a good space yesterday, and very glad she's going to the doctor today. And I asked her how she's doing this morning. Much better. And I said, well, I knew it. She was pre-waving. I feel as though there was something she was feeling yesterday that I am feeling today. So I just want to say that too. Oh, and I want to share something else with y'all. I shared this with Lisa. I had to go out to the grocery store yesterday, and I was picking up some turkey at the Publix for Lisa, and I was explaining to the little girl behind the counter that this was for my housemate, and we needed to make sure there was no nitrates and nitrites in it, and she was very helpful. And I said, yeah, I said, she's been in the hospital 4 times now, and they still can't get a diagnosis. And she looked at me, she said, I'm hearing a lot about that. She said, that seems to be something that's happening a lot. I said, well, I have a theory. And I told her my theory. And she said, I bet you're right. I bet you're, because I told her, I said, are you having, you're having that same thing, Journey? And I told her, I said, I think the human race, I think we are evolving. I think the physical vessel is evolving. The medical industry doesn't know what to do with that. They just don't know what to do with that. They can't explain it. And I think they're going to see some. Remember, the last 2 days, yesterday and the day before, under the surrender deck was surrendered to complete healing. And I think we're about to be showing some medical industry people that what they think they got going on ain't exactly what is needed. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm no doctor, that's for sure, right? Land, flower, earth. I just really feel like we'll see. We shall see. Huh? My new friend actually said she has a we shall see box that she puts things in. I like that. That's really cool. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Wow. I hope the recording, were y'all able to hear me okay? Because I'm telling you, when I do recordings and I haven't pulled this thing over, my voice isn't very clear. So gee whiz, I keep forgetting that. Okay, well, at least I hadn't actually started on the biggest part of the reading yet. Okay, so land, flower, earth. The heart already knows what the eyes squint to perceive, what the mind struggles to figure out. I could swear I was just talking a little bit about that. What, didn't I? Oh, my word. The essence is the true nature of one's being. There is no logical equation we can plug into the intellect to home in on essence. Essence is felt. Essence is intuited. The knowingness that allows us to connect with another's essence cannot be quantified by science. Oh my goodness, I love this. To really understand this world, and I mean really understand it, you must connect unconditionally with the essence that underlies every single being and every single life form on this planet. Only then will you be able to discern a weed from a flower and to know which energies, beings, and experiences will serve you and which ones will not. Sense deeper, sense multidimensionally, so as to allow the essence of what you are observing to show itself to you. And there we have that observing card as well. Oh my gosh. Uh, and that is what we have to do. And the only way to do any of that, in my view, is to surrender the ego, to surrender to what is, which I know takes courage. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, but you can't make this stuff up. I mean, I guess you could if you took the time, but y'all see, y'all were here. You could very clearly see that I did not make it up. Also, obviously, we have to go to the peregrine falcon next because its key word is observation. So we have to go there next. Observation. Take a step back and simply observe a situation. Listen and watch before you decide on a course of action, as acting rashly will not serve you in your current situation. You are being supported by powerful forces. Do not fear, you are protected. I really do feel like that's a true statement. I have felt for a long time that all this business about protecting oneself, if you feel you need protection, by all means, do that protection because you are creator. However, if you know that you are creator and you know you are automatically supported and protected by the universe, then there's no fear to be worried about being protected. The mythos. The eye of Horus is shaped exactly as that of the eye of the falcon, even down to the drooped teardrop shape at one end, a sign of all-seeing royalty, benevolent protection, and supreme power and unity. This magical symbol is still used today in spells for home and personal protection. Horus himself, who had a magical birth, was the child of the goddess Isis and the god Osiris. When Osiris was killed and dismembered out of jealousy by his brother, the storm god Set, Osiris' loyal and loving wife Isis searched the world for the pieces of his body. With the help of magical incantations supplied by Thoth, Isis healed Osiris and produced an heir, Horus. Horus united the family and became not just the god of the sky, but a protective influence over all of Egypt. Such was his importance that it was believed the pharaohs were Horus incarnated on earth, and the temples that were dedicated to him were superb. Horus is often depicted with a falcon's head, carrying the Ankh of eternal life and accompanying the pharaoh of the time. The animal. I have the privilege of living very close to the perching place of a pair of peregrine falcons. Now, for some reason in my area of North Carolina, We have a lot of falcons. I do not know what kind they are, but we have a bunch of them. And in the neighborhood we used to live in, there was at least 3 pair because I would see them flying over us all the time. So, very interesting. I have the privilege of living very close to the perching place of a pair of peregrine falcons. These magnificent birds of prey, the fastest animals on Earth, with diving speeds of up to 350 kilometers per hour, survey all. Watchful for movements and meals, when they see what they want, they take off, silent and compact, and their flight path is as sharp as a blade. There, I was just shown, we have one, I've not seen if it has a mate or not, that lives very close to here and hangs out in the tree right across the street from this house. Seen it on the ground actually a couple of times, which is kind of interesting. Their prey is mainly other birds, usually from above, by striking the bird with a punch-like action from closed talons. They then catch the prey in midair as it drops. These high-speed strikes are often the result of free-fall dives called stoops. The way the birds are designed, the faster they go, the more maneuverability they have. The structure of stealth bombers was modeled on the peregrine's wing shape. Hunting normally takes place at dawn or dusk, although urban falcons are known to also hunt nocturnally. Falcons nest in high places, scraping areas away on cliffs and natural spaces on the edges of high mountains. Having access to a view that enables them to use the incredible eyesight is vital. These birds are able to spot prey from a kilometer away quite clearly. The magic, the primary magic of the peregrine, is one of protection. The energy is one of an all-seeing observer and protector on high. Well, and this card talked about sensing multidimensionally, which whenever I think of, well, and I see things from more than one position now. It's very rare anymore where I can't see multidimensionally. I can see where a lot of folks only see from a 3D perspective, but and I always tend to think of it as a higher perspective when one zooms out and sees things from the 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D. It seems like there's because the what is incorporates all of that, right? It does. It incorporates the 3D because, hey, that is true from a 3D perspective. If that's the only perception of perspective that one is looking at a thing, of course, that would be the only thing that person could see, right? But coming from an observatory stance and being able to zoom out to see more than that is what I feel like this is speaking to. Work with peregrine magic when you need some powerful safeguarding or support. The other element I love about working with peregrine energy is the wise observational quality it provides. When you need to make a decision about a situation and need to have more information to do so, this animal will help you see the full view and to be patient about the gathering of intelligence. Yeah, I got to tell you, the anymore somebody want to rush me about a decision, the answer going to definitely be no. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to weigh everything, try to see it from all the different perspectives that I can, because I know enough now to know, A, I don't know everything, and I I can only assume that what I'm seeing is what I'm seeing, because nothing is what it appears. Not one thing is exactly as it appears. When you need to make a decision, when you need to make a decision about a situation and need to have more information to do so, this animal will help you see the full view and to be patient about the gathering of intelligence. The symbology associated with this is the Eye of Horus, yellow talons, profile view of the head. The status of the peregrine falcon is endangered in most territories due to poison buildup in prey animals and egg and habitat loss. Poison buildup in prey animals. Okay, that's rather sad, isn't it? That would mean if their prey is other birds, that would mean that those birds are being poisoned as well. Oh, that's rather sad. I did not know that. Wow. Okay. Me time. Let's look at the me time now. Card number 26. No. Yes. What is this? Yeah. Card number 26. There it is. Me time. Enjoy your own company. There is a quote here from Gail Sheehy. What would that there were an award for people who come to understand the concept of enough, good enough, successful enough, thin enough, rich enough, socially responsible enough. When you have self respect, you have enough. Well, I like Gail Sheehy because that's so true. The message: just as the sun is always shining, regardless of the clouds that temporarily obscure its light, you are never alone, even in your most solitary moments. You are at one with the whole of life. Know this, and next time you find yourself in a quiet, alone space, be aware of its blessing of grace. It is time to listen for the voice of inner wisdom. Breathe a sigh of relief next time you have a little me time. What might at first seem sad or lonely can be a great blessing. Fill your quiet spaces with luxurious, candlelit bubble baths, literally or symbolically. And I'm going to say this: when I first was separated and then divorced from my husband of 28 and a half years, and for the very first time was making a candle lit romantic dinner for myself, all by myself. One could think, oh, how sad. But I had the best time romancing myself, preparing. It was a steak and asparagus, roasted asparagus, and I went all out for myself. It was the first time I allowed myself to do anything like that. I was just shown all that whole thing as this was speaking there about the bubble bath, the candlelit bubble bath. And soak in your meditative thoughts. desires, creativity, preferences, music, and your favorite candle aroma. Be careful with that. Those things, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, scent is does a number on me. Take a chance to explore who you are without interruption. And when that moment finds you, remember it's a chance you've been waiting for. I think that's true. We are taught to be so focused on outside or the other that it's considered conceited of all things to love yourself. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, that's a setup, man. That is a setup. I know that now. Believe you me, I know that now. So the dream symbol of alone. Dreams of being alone can be twofold. This dream might seem scary until you realize that wherever you go, there you are. And you are magnificent. This dream could be prompting you to contemplate whether you enjoy the company you keep in the quiet moments. This dream also invites you to dive into the depths of your inner ocean and discover the treasure chest that's been patiently waiting. You know what else is so interesting about this card coming out here today? As I was contemplating after my shower, as I was rubbing my oil on my body and thanking it for hanging out and still being here for me, and for its beauty, its strength, all at once, completely unbidden, I thought about how is it so wrong to desire that others desire your company? And this is in particular thought of like family, maybe, that don't seem to, reach out. A lot of times in my life, I've always been the one to reach out, right? To initiate contact. And after a while, you get to start wondering, well, obviously they're just not that into you, honey. And honestly, I don't think it's wrong to want to be wanted in a relationship. So kind of interesting that this come out right now. I am magnificent. And if my company isn't desired, that's okay. Everybody gets to choose. I would so much rather be in company with someone who desires my company than to force myself onto folks who have no interest in hanging around me. I don't know if I made any sense there with that. But that has been a big theme in my life. Trust me. This dream also invites you to dive into the depths of your inner ocean and discover the treasure chest that's been patiently waiting. There's a mantra here with this one. I drop deep into the luxury of this quote me moment and let my soul become enriched. Oof, I highly, highly, highly agree with that one because and that's something like I said, that's kind of new for me at 63. Kind of a shame that it took that long for me to get that memo. But that's okay. I'm surrendering to what is and realizing that hey, at least I got the memo before I left this life, right? So the swan. Now let's see if in the description of this card why I'm feeling, because as I was looking at this card as it came out, I was feeling this card. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see what pans out here with the reading of the card, because it doesn't look anything like it to me at all. So Oh, the very first words. I'm going to hold this card up with it as I read this very first sentence. Gliding with grace, nothing is withheld from this beautiful soul. That's why. That's why I was feeling this card. Because that's true. Nothing is withheld from me, this beautiful soul. Not one thing. It can discern what is genuine, authentic, loving, and what is from the ego parading. Even through the most impressive words or gestures, this soul can sense the holding within of a core of fearful separation from the divine. With grace, it allows all to be and moves amongst this world with inspiring light and grace. Paramahamsa, boy, I hope I pronounced that right. Great Swan, the soul that moves the souls of others, is reaching to you now, the guru, the teacher, the light, the love that is all. You are blessed by sacred divine relationship with the essence of love itself that adores you and wants only for you to be free. Well, wow, I'm dizzy right this second. As I recall that me saying that this card also evokes the feeling of freedom in me, as per the other card that it makes me think of, the Hand of Fatima card from the Rumi deck. This oracle reaches to you now, indicating that you are held within the grace of a great soul, a teacher of the heart, of the spirit, and there is endless light bestowed upon you for protection. Your path ahead is assured. Soon you will be shifting from hope to a sense of inevitability in your attainment of the spiritual goals closest to your heart. Be with your practice of love through, hold on a second, through meditation, yoga, kindness, nature, dance, singing, whatever speaks to your heart, and know you are one with the divine, and it's only a matter of time before you realize it. I feel like that's true. I would never have admitted to that for myself just a few short years ago, but I really do get it now. To love from afar, all we share are dreams of what will unfold. Wow. No wonder I was feeling this card. Does that make any sense to any of you guys that are still here? Did those two cards, do you feel why I was feeling that, or is this just me? It could be just me. I get that, and that's fine because we're all unique points of perspective of the Godhead. That's the whole entire point of being here, is being unique perspective expressions of the Godhead. That's the whole point, in my view. That's what I have come to for myself in these moments of now. And so the Singer of Courage came out too. The key words for this card are bravery, sublimation of fear, moral strength. Someone once said that courage is not the absence of fear, but that which enables us to experience fear and not be stopped by it. It is also what enables us to do what we believe to be right, even when there is pressure from others around us to do otherwise. That's a true statement. It is what enables us to go ahead into the unknown or the perilous, where there are no guarantees of safety or security. In our lives, we are often, even constantly, confronted with a new world, a new way of being in the world, a new way of seeing and of being seen. Ordinary living takes courage, and to rise above the ordinary into extraordinary takes even more courage. Often people think of courage as being part of high heroism. It is, but it is also has its quiet, hidden side as well. And that may require greater courage because we cannot expect the rewards of praise and approval for it. For example, no courage is needed to be unhappy and self-pitying. Being a victim takes no courage whatsoever. Nope. Ask me how I know that to be true. We do not need to be self-disciplined or wise for that. However, to open our hearts to the risk and vulnerability of joy and trust requires all of those things, especially courage. Within each of us, there is the terrified inner mouse, and there is the brave inner hero. Either part of us can take over from the other. We get to choose which is in charge. The mouse is a magician with only one trick. It can cast an illusion that it is as big as an elephant. Then fear nearly overwhelms us, but we still have a choice. Learning to live with and manage the reactive animal within involves transforming emotions like rage and fear into courage through self-discipline and the help of the singer of courage. Now, I've shared this just last week or earlier this week at some point. I've had personal experience with this. That time, and I've shared it on camera before, that time that I do not know what it was. When I described what I was seeing behind my closed eyes to Lisa Risingberry, she showed me a picture of a dashiki. It was a blue being with teeth that looked like an animal's teeth, the blood dripping from it. And this is behind my closed eyes. I didn't dare open my eyes. Stomping around my bedroom, trying its best to get me to be afraid of it. But you see, I happen to believe that if something comes into my field, it is another part of me that is here to be loved into wholeness. And it did it denied because I said, I whispered out loud, I know who you are. You're another part of me, and I love you. Don't think I wasn't frightened, because I was, but I didn't allow myself to go over into that full-blown fear. Luckily, I had Lisa's words on board, which she got from Amelia Benz, and it bears repeating again. Fear, going into fear when something is trying to scare you, is a consent to being frightened. It is a contract of one type or another. But if one doesn't go into fear, first of all, they don't know how to act, these other parts of you, because it's been so successful in scaring the crap out of me before, right? On other parts of me. And that made so much sense to me when we had that conversation, and I really felt into that. Every single thing we do with each other, there are contracts involved, consent. This is a free will universe. If something tries to scare you and you get scared, well, you just agreed that it's a scary thing. And it has power now over you. And it took a little bit, all that stomping around and huffing and puffing. But eventually I felt the integration. I just kept beaming love, unconditional love at this being. And it was another portion of me. I mean, just 2 weeks prior, I had done a soul retrieval ritual where I was asking for broken and damaged pieces of my soul to come back to me. What in the hell did I expect? That I was all some goody two shoes. Every little portion of me is a goody little two shoes. I got news for you. I got news for all of us. That ain't how that works. All these light workers out here that are running around thinking that they are nothing but good and they're running from their shadows. Oh, we keep running from the shadows, and that's why they're chasing us. That's my thoughts on this. Your individual mileage absolutely will vary, but it's bears thinking about, if you ask me. So it feels to me like at least somebody that's coming here that will see this now or later. These words you may want to take in for yourself. Most people have decided by the age of 3 or 4 what they must do in order to survive. I know that's part and parcel what I did and what's kept me in a position for a long time. From this decision, this belief about how the world is, most of our fears and self-limitations grow. Have we the courage to discover and break through these limiting beliefs, awaken to greater possibilities, and go for our objectives? We need to transcend our fears and accept the gift of courage. And so obviously, the singer of courage is going to play a big role for all of us. Not going to, but does play a large role for all of us on a quite regular basis. Now, card number 32, which is Iris of the Rainbow. Rainbows is our last card. And the key words for this card are hope, promise for the future. Blue skies and rain are the realm of Iris, the rainbow fairy. She dwells at the meeting of air, the element of mind, and water, the element of emotion. She sits, rainbow-hued wings outspread, suspended in mid-air, partially wrapped in her deep sky draperies, and crowned with iris blossoms. The fairy archers tip their arrows in her potent handful of iridescent light. Firing their arrows, they send polychromatic rays into the storm, bringing light to dismal skies and hope to darkened hearts. Beneath the rainbow fairy, the amphibious creatures of a wet earth crouch. The fairy frog maiden and the frog, anyone care to kiss him and see what happens? Peer out from their shelter at the storm-racked world, where the shadowed sun is dimly seen above Iris's head. Sturdy pot-bellied gnomes, their toes rooted in the earth, sport sweeping whiskers to prove their entitlement to their single iris crowns, while the helpful fairy amphibians hold transparent rainbow-filled globes for the rainbow fairy. Everyone, especially Iris herself, is fully absorbed in the task of reclaiming the bright sky from the dark of the storm. In her hand, the light of heaven's bow looks a fragile thing, yet it is the light of hope, the promise of healing and joy to come. And that is one of the most powerful things there is. Iris tells us that light is breaking through our present darkness, and that hope is a powerful factor in speeding up the process. She does not promise us that the storm is over, nor does she say that it will never storm again. But she does say that there is brightness and beauty here. She also tells us that there is something to be gained by this passage through the storm, and the sooner we learn what it is, the sooner the storm will end. Always a passage through the storm is a time of potential growth, a time to allow the dead wood of our past to be blown away to make room for the green shoots of new growth. At this point, it is useful to ask ourselves what we still need to release and to look after protecting and nurturing the seeds we have planted. Iris suggests that the cultivation of patience may also be helpful at this time. The storm is breaking up. Are we ready for the change? If we are presently frogs, the fairies say the time of our transformation, foretold by the rainbow, may be at hand. Then we shall be kissed by the prescient light of the sun and discover if we are still frogs or if we have become something much more. Wow, what a beautiful card to end on today, because that was the last card to read for today. Wow. I'm telling you, I'm so glad that I'm paying attention to myself and doing these readings when I feel to do them, because they really have become quite powerful for me personally. I hope that if you were drawn here today, that you found something in this reading for yourself. Boy, I sure did. Surrender to what is, surrender your ego, realize that you have the power to think and feel multidimensionally. Be the observer in a very real way. Know that you are protected no matter what, because nothing is at all what it seems. Love yourself unconditionally. Wow. I don't even know what to say. And don't be afraid to step out of the you've always been. Even if nobody notices, by the way, because that could very well happen too, by the way. Let me just say, ask me how I know. Thank you, Vanessa, for being here. I definitely hear you on the fear and running from ourselves and our own shadows. Well, I tell you, I always see that movie, that little animated movie by Pixar called Soul. There's a spot, without giving away too much, in that movie where they are being chased around in the dark by some huge, I don't know what you would call them, I guess, monsters, only to find out that they are those monsters. I mean, we are all one and singular all at the same time. And therefore, anything that shows up in my field is just another part of me. Especially if it's trying to scare me, it's here to, because for me, I feel like I keep asking for more of me to come into me, because I'm quite aware that the expanded portion of myself hasn't fully seated in here yet. And if the idea that there are other portions of my soul that are out there, which, like I said, I participated in a soul retrieval ritual. And then I want to get upset when something scary shows up in my room. I mean, what were you thinking? If you want all of you to come to you, which I very clearly did, and I asked to see all of me, and then I want to get upset when something shows up. I mean, come on, what sense are we making here? Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I know I have. I want to say too that in support of Crystal, I will be releasing later on today a little sort of commercial. I'm going to take you to our website. I'm going to show you exactly how to follow what links. Crystal has created some of the coolest designs. And I own one of the shirts. I should have pulled it out to show you. Um, I purchased this little necklace here. I actually let my granddaughter choose which one she wanted, and she wanted hers to be just like mine. So she chose this. Now, these necklaces are not going to be available until after the surgery, but she also has the digital art that you can find out all about the channeling. And I'm going to walk everybody through that in that little commercial that I'm going to be putting out. It's going to be less than a 30-minute, probably, hopefully, because I won't chat too much, video where I just take you to the website and show you. But also, and I want to I've already had one viewer contact me. Any and all of the services that I might try to offer anybody right now in order to assist my friend, if you want to spend some time with me, we could do a beyond quantum healing session, which I generally ask people to allow a full day for, because it takes about 4 hours generally. I like to allow 4 hours. And I'm doing those for love offerings. So all of which will go to Crystal. And I've already had one taker on that, for which I am so absolutely grateful for. We are going to be setting that up. And, the same thing with the blueprints that I do, any kind of reading that anybody might want to do with me in exchange for a love offering for Crystal. So let's get those coming in. You can contact me at consciousconversationcentral@gmail.com if you simply would prefer just to donate, which would be quite lovely. In every video we do for a little bit now, I will be putting the links where you can donate to Crystal directly. Also, like I said, some of the t-shirts, sweatshirts, and things that she has already put together from this light encoded art activations, which she's had them available for quite some time, but we just don't usually talk about it. I'll be showing you how to access those, but you can go to www.newlightstreaming.love, and that's KNEW lightstreaming.love, and click on Journey Into It and just follow those links. She created courses, light language courses. She has created, well, several courses that you can take. The designs, she does light language transmissions for personalized transmissions. So go and take a look. If you want to purchase something for a gift for somebody, now is the time to do that, to assist our single mama who won't be able to work, because she does work outside the home, but she won't be able to work if she's, had surgery, got to recover from it. So anything that you guys could do, and if you can think of something to help me say, hey, let's do this, I'm there. Just hit me up. So until we meet again, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It really is just a matter of your perspective, your perception on your perspective. And if you find that you're not feeling very joyous in the moment, give yourself a hot minute, back up, feel into it. There's always more than one way to see something, to take something in. Allow yourself some time. So until we meet again, mwah, be well.